business or whatever the case may be. But it's interesting you say that, the crossover between professionalism. So I'm of an age where I remember the likes of Rob Andrews saying that he went from part-time to full-time rugby, and just that longevity outside of the amateur game into the professional. But you guys, to keep that going, that you must be proud of that.
Yeah, I mean, do you know what? I've got a real passion for this club. I've met some of my closest and best friends down here, and guys that I met down here 30 odd years ago, are my closest friends now. I think that's what rugby does for you. It's one big family. It's great,
and that comes through when you listen to the guys. So we had James, who's next to you at the moment on the pod earlier. I won't tell you what he said about Benidorm. He is giving away all your secrets, so you've got nothing to hide.
To be honest, but I didn't let
No, he wasn't there, but he was able to show some photos, and the evidence is incriminating. No, but in all seriousness, at the end of the season awards, it's that time to reflect and just thank people, but also just see how far you've come as a club and as a team. Is there any stand-up moments this season?
This season, we
was in a competitive league against teams that we've been playing against for the last 20 years.
So there's a lot of teams there that we knew their calibre. It was a real good league to play in. We came up to some really tough teams. There were some teams that that weren't quite up to scratch, but that's how this league goes, and it's how rugby goes. The standout moments this season, we played top of the league down here, and this is coming to probably 3/4 of the way through the season. This team, they'd not been beaten by anybody. They was really riding high. They thought that it was coming. We'd just come off the back of quite a big defeat, so they thought they was coming down here to give us a good drumming, and we beat top of the league. The only time they was beaten this season, and it was a real good buzz. The guys give everything on the pitch. It was a real highlight. We finished fifth in the league, which was a good performance. Overall, I think the players that played this year can be really proud of what they've achieved. It's hard. We only run one team down this club. Most teams in our league were at least 2, maybe 3 teams.
Yeah.
So they've got depth coming towards the back end of the season. We have numerous injuries, and it's difficult then, trying to pick the bodies up.
Yeah.
Playing with lads with injuries, but also pulling together teams. But we'll go again beginning of this season up September.
And I think that's testament to Newton, because look, let's be honest, right? These lads, they got injuries, they got outside lives as well, whether that's family, whether that's work commitments, whether that's friends, whatever the case may be, to turn up week in, week out, put them performances in, win, lose or draw, and you can really feel that togetherness, and it comes through from what you've said and some of the other players as well.
It is, and we've got a strong coaching team down here as well. That they put their time and effort in to plan the coaching sessions, so we've got a structured approach to the game, and it makes a difference. We see it, we stick with it, and you can see that it actually works on the pitch, and that is a real buzz, for the team when you see something that you go over and over and over again, and it comes off, and it's good. We've got this year we've enticed a lot of new players in.
Good.
So we've had an influx of new players, which is really good.
Yeah.
We've had good support from our sponsors. We've had good support from ex-players that want to come and support events that we've had here.
Brilliant, fantastic.
So,
yeah.
I mean, not only the rugby section, but the club in general. There's a real good vibe about the place.
Do you know what? I've got to pick you up on that, Paul, because the cricket boys have said the same thing tonight. the rugby league lads have said, the coaches tonight and the youngsters, and you've said it as well, and just listening about that, the club comes together, and there's so many sports that are played here at the moment, and that can only be a fantastic thing. I know there will always be a bit of rivalry, a bit of divide for whatever rationale or reason, but that sentiment comes through all the time, and that's amazing to hear.
So do you know what? It's a good place to be.
I can feel that. I've said a few times tonight, I've only been down, I think this is my 5th time in the club, and I feel so welcome. There's a real buzz about it and energy every time I've been in here. And look, I know the Cricket All-Stars, the youngsters, they were cancelled tonight because of the weather. I can't wait to see that. But the under 12s were playing tonight at rugby, and it just seeing few, it's actually tipping it down before they played. You wouldn't know, because they just go out and they just do their thing. And at the end of it, I said this in one of the interviews. One of the lads who was coming off telling his parent he was elbowed, this, that and the other, it meant something to him. He didn't just turn up after school to run about. It meant something to him. And I think that's indicative of the club. So, yeah, whatever you said there, I think that's resonating through the whole club right now.
Yeah, good awards tonight. Couldn't have finished the season off in style. We've got James here with us. James has won Players Player of the Year.
Congratulations, James. Well done. Well done. I know we was on earlier, so it's good to get a post-match, post-interview piece.
And Player of the Year as well. So
well done.
Congratulations. The coaching and the captain and everybody else. He's very humble in his in his approach to rugby. He leads from the front. This year he's been phenomenal.
Brilliant.
On and off the pitch.
Well, listen, guys, look, I really appreciate the time. James, you was on earlier, you sat there, you've won 2 awards, you would never know, you're so humble, like Paul just said. Paul, thank you very much for coming on. I know it's never an easy job doing the chairman piece, but look, the music's kicking, you're out of a drink, you probably both need more of it, so I'm going to let you go and enjoy the night. Do it in style, and please do come back on the pod in the near future when you start the season. All the best, boys. Thanks very much. Cheers. I told you you'd love it, didn't I? I hope by now that you realise I'm not a liar, okay? Because every time I tell you you're going to love one, and people are funny or they're great or they're inspirational, look, I'm true to my word, okay? So I'm really, I'm honest as the days comes, right, about people. All right, so if I'm trying to sell you a new car, or an old car, used car, whatever, don't trust me there. I don't blame you. The accent, yeah, all right, I get it. But when it's about other people, you've got to trust me, okay? And many thanks to Paul for coming on and sharing some of his experiences and his true love for the sport and Newton. But also a massive congratulations to James. We're picking up the 2 awards there. 2 awards that have been voted for by his teammates and his coaches. So, these are unanimous awards. It's not favouritism, it's not undeserved. You can tell that when these awards come through. Absolutely brilliant. And James, well done. Thank you for coming on the pod. But we didn't know, and when he was sat next to Paul, right, he was just so humble. You would never know. Even when Paul mentioned it, James didn't bat an eyelid. He just sat there, and it wasn't as if he wasn't interested or didn't care. It was just, he's just so humble and down to earth, and it's amazing to see. And you can tell that the actual team mean more to these boys than individual awards, games, etc., scores, tries, tackles, whatever the case may be. That really does come through. But we should say a massive congratulations to James. Brilliant, an amazing season, and picking up those 2 awards, mate. Fair play, all the best, and good luck for the future. Now, the night did go on down at the club on Friday. I didn't stick around for too much longer because the worry I had of having a microphone and a load of drunken rugby boys was just too much for me to bear, to be honest with you. A little bit scared, a little bit worried that what would go on. I'm a bit of a wimp, really, because I just had these visions of noise, if I'm honest with you. But the boys enjoyed their night, and I had the opportunity. I popped back down the club on Saturday, so I did all my bits I needed to do on Saturday morning, got back down the club on Saturday afternoon, and you could tell that a few of the boys had have a bit of a heavy night and a few sore heads. But as I walked in, who did I see but Steve and Carl from Newton Football? Okay, the under-13s coaches that we had on the pod a couple of episodes ago. And you could tell they'd had a couple of drinks, gents, if you are listening to this. There was a little bit of noise, but the euphoria going through these gentlemen and those that were with them. So Carl's partner and some of the parents were there, etc., of the boys, right? And we just found out, well, Carl was very, very quick to tell us, or tell me, should I say, that the boys had just done the double. Okay, an amazing feat. So when we interviewed Carl and Steve, they'd just won the cup final. Okay, and that day the guys were 1-0 down, and they won 2-1 to clinch the title and claim the double. An absolutely amazing achievement for a team that wasn't expected either to do that, right? Because I know sometimes at that sort of age level and age group, you get the favourites that win it year after year, you know, all the best teams, etc., but weren't expected to win it and absolutely smashed it. Now, I'm not going to spoil it too much, but what I will say, there's an amazing story that goes with this, how the season finished, and the final score, but also the goal scorer, who it was, okay, and a play that they scored from, and something that they just worked on very recently. So I'm not going to spoil it because on Saturday, Saturday 28th, the boys have got their last home game of the season. They're hoping to play that at the club. Now, we're just finding out whether that's going to be the case or not, because it's not always available, not always the thing that they can do. But let's be honest, if they can, I'm going to get myself down there, right, and I'm going to get some pre- and post-match interviews, and I'm going to get Carl to tell that story, okay? So I'm not going to spoil it right now. So Saturday, 28th, a big day in the local area, I think, unless you're a United fan or Everton, but you've got Liverpool in the Champions League final, but more so, you've got Newton boys that in last home game of the season. If you can get down and see them, right, they'd absolutely love it because they've just won a double, and just having a few more hands that clap and cheer and voices, you know, just giving them the accolade they deserve. It'd be absolutely amazing. I know I'm going to do it, right? I couldn't help it. And there was many a chant while I was in there for the couple of hours I was there of Championi, as well as some other chants. The cup was on the table, the beers were flowing, but more importantly, there's pure euphoria, happiness, and it wasn't even relief, actually. The just pure joy. You could see it on Steve and Carl's face. Honestly, the guys were over the moon. They were made up. And some of the lads, they take it in a stride at that age, honestly. So, you know, the parents are there having a drink and a chat, celebrating. The boys are out playing football still. You know, they've just won the league and they're just running about, coming back to the parents, give us a fiver, I need a drink, I need this, I need that. But going back out, having a laugh, having a giggle and playing football again. Whereas, you know, for Carl and Steve, all the effort, and Adam was there as well. Sorry, I don't mean to forget Adam. He was there as well. So yeah, all the effort they're putting all year, and you could just see the pure joy. So let's get those lads on next week. That episode's going to be amazing. There's a great story in that to listen to. So I'll make sure I captured it, and I think there's a few of the lads that want to get on as well. Well, look, that was an amazing episode. I absolutely loved being down at the club on Friday night. I know each interview I started with, and so I'm still down at the club, or I'm down at the club, etc. But I really, genuinely didn't realise just how many interviews I was going to get. So that's absolutely amazing for this podcast. And it's going from strength to strength. And can I just say, we've had over 300 downloads of this podcast now. So we've only done 4.1 episodes, if you like. This will be 4.2. So up to this moment, right, over 300 downloads. I'm absolutely made up. And thank you very much for supporting it, because, you know, the club people, the people at the club are doing an amazing job. So you've got Martin and Joe, you've got all the bar staff, you've got all the backroom staff, you've got the coaches, you've got the players, you've got the parents, officials, like we said earlier. And without everything, it won't be the club it is today, right? But we're just trying to add something additional to the club in putting this podcast out there. I didn't have any expectation at all as to whether this would take off or not. But to have 300 downloads, I'm absolutely buzzing. And I just want to say thank you to each and every person that's downloaded it. If you've downloaded